Alright, so I have got our workstation here prepped. I'm going to show you guys the process so you can understand a little bit why I'm not trying to do all this in person at the church. There's a lot of supplies I would have to bring, and it's not feasible. So I'm having to make a lot of the decision-making process, which some of you might be disappointed in, as far as like colors and sentiments and stamps and so forth like that. But I'm going to show you a little bit more why I'm doing it here so I don't have to haul all the stuff. Anyway, you are going to have a pack that has a few items in it. One will be a card base, which is basically a full-size sheet cut in half down the middle. A standard card size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is, if you fold this in half, that's this size. You guys are not all going to have the same card base color. You could have any orange yellow tone that I happen to have on hand, because I don't have enough of any one color for all of you to have the same. Plus, variety is the spice of life. Anyway, you're also going to have one of these, which I'm going to show you how I do that in just a minute. Let you get a closer look. You can see it's shiny. And one of these. This will go inside the card for that. Alright, moving on. I have my Misty stamping tool here. This thing is well loved. I use it all the time. It basically allows me to stamp the same stamp. I'm not sure how well y'all can see it, but I have the flower stamp right here and Sending Sunshine right here. I can put them in here. They cling to the lid so that if I need to stamp multiple times on the same spot because it didn't get a good impression, I can do that without it having shifted at all. So to prep the paper under here, I use an anti-static powder tool. That's what this is. I just knock a little of the powder out onto the paper. And the reason I'm doing this is so that this embossing powder, which is basically little tiny beads of plastic, it will not cling to areas that it's not supposed to. And that's very important. Alright, so I'm going to need my Versamark ink, which is a clear, sticky ink. And I'm going to open up my Misty, press that onto the stamps really well. Sorry, takes it a second. Alright, now I'm going to close the lid and press really firmly across these stamps. You'll hear my desk wiggling around, sorry. Alright, I'm going to open it up carefully so hopefully my paper doesn't shift. And at the angle I'm at, I can see a little bit that I have missed. So I'm going to ink it up again and try again. This stamp in particular has a couple of spots that just do not want to touch the paper for some reason. I think it's probably because I bought it on Temu, and quality control is not the same in China as it is here in the US. Okay, so this time I'm going to focus a little bit more on the areas that I saw were struggling. I apologize if that's shifting around. I have to lift it real slowly because it's so sticky it wants to lift the paper. Alright, that time I got a good impression. I do want to redo Sending up here a little bit. It could be a little juicier. And this is why the Misty is absolutely worth the investment for me. I make enough cards. They're not cheap, unfortunately. And you can buy some off-brand ones on Temu or Amazon, but you're not guaranteed that the, whatever this is, can't think of the word, the hinge is not going to have some play in it and wiggle. So just be aware of that if you decide this is something you want to start doing and you're trying to look for a less expensive alternative. Alright, I'm going to move that to the side. Alright. So I know it's hard to see. You can see a little bit better on the yellow, but you probably cannot see the clear ink on the white at all. I have a special scrap piece of shiny paper here that I always pour my embossing powder over. That way I can filter it right back in here when I'm done. But you about to see the magic happen. If I can pick it up, there we go. All right, tap off the extra, make sure it's covered in all the areas. Even after I stamped it again, it's just low quality stamp here. It missed that spot right there. All right, I'll set that to the side and do Sending Sunshine so I can heat emboss these all at once. I didn't get the powder tool really well right here, and if I don't wipe that off, it will leave a shiny black spot right there. So we want to make sure we get it all off. All right, let me deal with this real quick. Okay, now for my favorite part. I'm using my heat gun tool. I preheated it a little bit earlier, but it's gotten cold again. You want to preheat your heat gun before you put it on the paper because it can cause paper warping. Okay. I'm going to try to have it up here where you guys can see it when it changes. It'll suddenly go shiny and darker. Alright, I got that. I'm going to move on to the flowers now. Bit of embossing powder. It's usually just like a little sentiment, but I'm going all out for you guys. All right, so you see the shiny surface it now has. That is also going to be waterproof, which is important for what we're going to be doing. We're going to be watercoloring our Gerber daisies. Now, Gerber daisies naturally come in all sorts of colors, and you guys feel free to have fun with this. Do as many colors, varieties as you want to. You don't have to stick to the orange, yellow, red tones that I did by any means, but just have fun. Try not to use too much water because the paper will warp and we need it to dry sometime tonight. And then afterward we're going to use a little bit of foam tape. Let me grab some real quick. I get this at the Dollar Tree. It's awesome. You get like 3 rolls to a pack in various widths. But you just stick that on the back side of the sentiment and it lifts it a little bit, gives a little bit of interest. It gives it a little shadow underneath. It makes it more fun to look at, basically. And then I will bring some embellishments with me and you guys can glue those on. If you ever want to bring your own supplies from home, feel free to. There's just no way that I can bring everything that everybody might possibly decide they would like for this class. So feel free to bring your own supplies. I will try to provide some. I went to the Dollar Tree the other day and I got a few cheapo supplies. I don't know how good they are. These watercolors, as you can see, the little cakes come out of the container, but they do pop right back in. I've got some of those for you guys to share if you don't happen to have anything. I got these little palettes so you can get a little of the color and move to your own space. These are foam tape squares. Foam tape comes in all sorts of varieties. And then I also got this. I've not tried it out yet. I'm planning on doing that before class to see if the paint is any good, but if it is, that's a good selection of colors, and the cakes are larger for the amount you're paying. And then I got a variety of other brushes, because we all know those little watercolor brushes that come in these are terrible. So I'm not sure that these are any better, but possibly I'm going to try them out as well. And then glue. Dollar Tree has a variety of glues. Tacky glue would be the one I prefer on this, but they have this craft glue. I've not tried it. They have this liquid adhesive. I've not tried it. But tacky glue is something I use all the time. Another item I use in my craft room, sorry, I had to get it out, is these little glue pens. It rolls on just like a ballpoint. And another adhesive I like, tape runners. These will hold down stuff really well. They come in permanent or in removable. So choose yours wisely if you decide to go that route. And then for embellishments, I get this knockoff B6000 off of Temu as well. It's good for gluing on the little embellishments. And if you have trouble with dexterity and holding on to tiny things, you might want to consider some little crafting tweezers or one of these tools. If you've ever done the jewel art stuff, you'll know what this is. This wax end will pick up these little embellishments and hold it while you put a drop of glue down and put it back down. They're great for that. Anyway, oh yeah, this is a placemat I got at the Dollar Tree that you guys, I would love you to have one. That way we can protect the tabletops at the church and they don't get messed up. But I think that's it for now. You guys have fun. Just knock it out. Enjoy your time together. Talk, get to know each other. And we'll be back next week with a different